Good morning, everybody. Lowell Shepherd here on board SV Wahine, 40-foot Gypsy 402, Hawaiian name, French built, and she and I joined forces a year ago on this great mission Pacific solo heading towards Nemo North. So welcome to episode 8. I'm preparing for the first venture into Area 1 and some coastal cruising. So I'm checking out anchors, marine charts, legal issues, as well as enjoying some solo sailing over the weekend. I was kind of sad to discover after my early morning solo sail yesterday that there was a yacht race with Tokyo Yacht Club, of whom I'm a member, but I don't race. If I had known, I would have stayed out in the water and watched the races a little bit. But nonetheless, I have had a good weekend. Experienced some new things. I decided to take off the rudder and wind vane off of Skyly 2 when I come back into port, because it makes it a little clumsy. She's just not quite as nimble getting into actual dockside. So I had my first experience of strapping myself on, getting onto the swim deck, and removing the rudder and the wind vane while the boat was underway. It was a kind of fun experience. Anyways, more of that to come. Thank you for episode 8. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please press the notification button. Please like and comment. It all helps me. I've got just over 500 more subscribers to go to get to that magical 1,000 subscriber point where YouTube may treat me a little bit more favorably in some regards. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hey, I'm Lowell. This is Pacific Solo. I have to prepare myself for the greatest challenge of my life, crossing the North Pacific via what I'm calling Nemo North, the place in the North Pacific furthest away from land in any direction. But before I can ever leave for Nemo North, I need blue water experience. I currently have none. So join me, Pacific Solo Season 2, as we search for blue water. Good morning. Well, good morning. Well, it's still rainy season, but I'm preparing for departure. Departure on my first foray into deeper water and beyond Tokyo Bay. I've already done the channel just before Golden Week during the state of emergency to Misaki, to the kind of the end of the shipping channels. But now I want to go further, and I want to go out for several days. And so I'm just preparing. The rainy season is still going on, and there's some other personal issues and family issues juggling with, but now I'm preparing my to-do list, what I need to prepare, and I need to prepare equipment, check all of that, supplies, and also make sure legal affairs are in order. And in particular, that's the list. To be frank, I'm nervous. I think it's a good set of nerves, but I need to get out sailing in deeper water. And as much as I can push out to the boundaries of Area 1, which allows me to go quite a bit further than 5 nautical miles offshore within this given area as far as Miyake Jima. But I have a hesitance, and I'm juggling the hesitance with my disposition towards risk. And it's kind of the same as when I went long distance cycling. At first I was a fair weather cyclist, and then I just began training in rain and training in typhoons, and I did long distance cycling trips in typhoons. Stewart Air, if you're listening, you remember the infamous one from Niigata to Sendai. And but in this case, if I break down on a bicycle, as we did on that particular journey, we just kept cycling and finally found a means that will take us, and a mountain pass that was open after 3 attempts. It's different at sea, so I have a lot more confidence than I did a year ago. I find this hesitance wanting to wait for the right window, but I need to juggle that with just, I gotta get out there and just do it. So it's kind of where my state of mind is at the moment. One of the biggest issues is the anchor, and I've got both anchors out. One is an all-round delta that's very good for a lot of different bottoms. The other is particularly good for mud and sand. I don't have enough chain. I only have about 3 meters of chain on each, but the delta I have 30 meters of line, and also on the mud one I have 55 meters of line. So I think I'll just go with that for the moment. I'm not going to plan on anchoring overnight, but I'm going to experiment with anchoring. This is my rear anchor. 55 meters of fairly new line on it, only a couple meters of chain. I was going to try hanging it over the aft so I could readily use it as an aft anchor, but that's not only unseemly, and maybe it puts too much strain on the bimini frame, but also it's just as easy to keep it back in the lazarette and pull it out. So I'm going to put it back there now. This particular anchor is good for mud, apparently, and done. And that's easy enough to get at right there. And it weights everything down inside the lazarette, which is, I guess, what an anchor is supposed to do. Weight things down. So an important part of my preparation is making sure I have all the marine charts that are required for this trip, and indeed will come in helpful. And in fact, I have all my marine charts. We have this one, which really helps us get down the shipping channels to kind of give us bearings, etc., to get us down past Misaki. And then there's this one. You can see we're right there at the moment, and the shipping channels kind of have to stay on the Kanagawa side, skirt the land there, kind of go out to sea, and then a right angle in when we see the Misaki Bridge. So my plan is to go to Misaki and then across over to Chiba, probably Hota. There's various places where I could moor fairly cheaply, and indeed anchor, I'm told, as well. And then use that for my first foray into Area 1 as a launching pad. This is Oshima here. Off the map, I've got another map for this, is Izuhanto and Shimoda, and I can go down as far as Miyake Jima, which is again off the map. So as far as marine charts go, I'm covered. I got everything that I need. The other legal instruments or papers are my registration, my insurance papers, and of course I also want to make sure I have all my BON network. BON is the Boat Assistance Network. It's kind of like an automobile association. If you break down, that can auto rescue you. I also need to make sure I have enough water on board, enough fuel, and enough food, of course. With water, I'm still puzzled by the 2 water tanks. This one may have a small leak in it. My electric pump doesn't work half the time. My foot pump is broken. So probably I'm going to be just bringing on some containers full of water for those few days. Fuel is no problem. I'll fill up. I'll have plenty of fuel to do. Even if I motored the whole week, I would have enough fuel. And then food, we'll stock up. Got lots of instant rice, and I'm taking my gas camping stove because the microwave won't work once we're offshore. So it's coming together. We're getting there, and I'm so much looking forward to it. Getting the buoys out for the race. Not sure what you actually call those when you use them in a race. And And there, all the sailors going out with matching t-shirts. I don't know if you can see, but there's pink ones out there. I'm out for a solo sail, not quite just a sunrise, just missed the sunrise. It's about 5:30 and heading out for some more just practice, fairly moderate winds. The wind turbine isn't moving, I look to see over there. So I may have out here 5 to 7 knots of wind. And just further practice and getting used to the boat, just sort of noise below my feet. In the engine room, but there was only one clang. It was almost like maybe the rudder had hit something underwater, or it could have been something falling down. So it all makes me very aware, and I've just realized I've never really done a safety drill in case of fire. For example, if the engine suddenly something ignited down there, what I would do. I know where the fire extinguishers are. I've never really taken the time to go through and do a simulation without actually firing the thing off. So another thing on my list to do. But it's a sunny morning, rather gray. Can't see too far. Visibility maybe 7 or 8 nautical miles. Disneyland over to my side. I'm coming in after a solo practice on this Sunday morning using the new GoPro, which is one of the resources that the Kickstarter campaign has enabled me to get to help me sail solo. I just done a couple of exercises for training. One of which was, I've decided to, when I'm particularly solo, to dismantle Skyly too in terms of her vane and her rudder. It just makes it a little more clumsy getting in and out of dock. The main rudder doesn't have quite the controllability, both because if there's any wind at all, it is going to affect the wind vane and act as a sail at the back of the boat, and then also the rudder. And this morning I just noticed the behavior of the boat was a little different. I didn't quite have the turning power in reverse. So I decided to take it off, I should say, when I was still just entering the channel. The swells were still about a meter and a half, quite pleasant in fact. And so on this occasion I decided to harness myself in, lock the helm, cruise at about 2 knots, so the boat stayed heading in the same general direction, and got in the back and took off the rudder, and the wind vane itself, the Skyly 2, is now naked. Please like, please share, and please say comments below. Also, you can check out the Pacific Solo store. There's now some products online. All that helps support the educational projects that Pacific Solo is trying to create to help students learn awareness of the oceans. So thumbs up, like, share. Take care, everybody.